For over 30 years, football hooliganism has spread like a cancer to every corner of the UK and has infiltrated the nation with excessive violence and hate. England has experienced some of the worst cases of football violence, and I want to understand what has driven these football hooligans to commit such crimes. In order to reveal the staggering truth behind football hooliganism, I travel into the heart of one of England's most feared football gangs, the Aldershot Ultras, in England's League Two division.
It's such a hard issue and not one that could easily be controlled in this country.
My aim is to travel into the heart of the football hooligan underworld and follow one of Britain's most notorious and dangerous football gangs.
And what makes it so disturbing is the kind of crimes that these thugs are capable of.
The use of CCTV is one of many ways of how the police are trying to prevent the violence inside the ground. But for the police authorising Aldershot matches, this is easier said than done.
Authorising Aldershot matches are our biggest task. They are literally like preparing for battle.
Hooligans have now relocated to the grim and secluded inner city areas away from the police to release their anger built up during a football match.
Tony, in our files, is classed as a Category C hooligan. This means that whenever and wherever he travels, there will inevitably be confrontations and there will be violence. As a whole, it really needs to be stopped. It's really destroying the great British game.
My name is Matthew Fawcett, and for the last 10 years I have been working undercover in a wide range of false identities to reveal the truth behind some of England's most corrupt and discussed scandals. My latest task has led me to disguise myself as a 21st century football hooligan as I seek to undermine the truth behind the rise in football violence in recent years. My use of undercover equipment such as secret microphones and recorders has allowed me to understand the true nature of these events. Over the last 10 years, the violence has increased in the lower league clubs. It seems that the police in the lower league grounds are fighting an ever-losing battle against the hooligans, as they do not have the financial stability to maintain control. Leaving my house in Surrey, I travel into the vast, industrial and urban side of Hampshire. In order to reveal the staggering truth behind football hooliganism, I travel into the heart of one of England's most feared football gangs, the Aldershot Ultras, in England's League Two division. It seems that recently, football violence is on the increase, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for the police to maintain control in and outside the ground. I met with Hampshire police officer Reuben Honey to discuss his views on the substantial amount of policing needed for Aldershot matches.
This group of Aldershot fans are our most challenging. They do take up a lot of our resources and they really do keep us on our toes, if anything. And the amount of money that we need to buy these resources to then restrain them to then help the public is not in our grasp.
Much of this violence is influenced by Aldershot's famous East Bank Terrace, a compact stand consisting of over 4,000 supporters in a standing terrace formation which ultimately increases the intensity of the atmosphere. With one of the largest groups of followers in the entire country, the police have to be prepared for the arrival of the Aldershot Ultras.
as you said, when Aldershot come to town, all our police force are there. We are doubling numbers, we are not having anyone off sick, we are straight in there, we're in and outside the ground. They challenge our resources because of the way they react to the football and the way they react to the opposing fans.
It seems that recently, football violence is on the increase, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for the police to maintain control in and outside the ground.
It costs, we as a police force, £25 million a year in the UK to police Football League grounds. And I would say a substantial amount of this figure comes from the policing of Aldershot games.
Aldershot's urban deprivation and high unemployment figures are just one of many reasons as to why hooligans take part in the violence. For many also, the violence is used as a tool for escapism, as the stress built up during the week is ultimately released as fury on the oppositional fans. And as the media are always present at the Aldershot matches, the violence is never far away from reaching national news. It seems that the media are deliberately creating a moral panic to strike fear into the public, which ultimately is increasing the level of violence in the UK, as these football gangs now feel unstoppable and untouchable.
47% of all banning orders in the UK, and this is a well-known statistic, comes from the ages between 19 and 21 years old that are involved in hooliganism. This means that we as a police force, and me as someone that's high in the police force, are not doing their job correctly, because there's inevitably going to be a future in the hooliganism and the violence.
Coming up in part 2, we travel deeper into the heart of England's most troublesome football gang and analyse the reasons as to why alcohol consumption has a large impact on the hooligans' behaviour. And with a role model like this in the Aldershot gang, it's clear to see how his actions have infiltrated into the younger generation of the Aldershot Ultras.
In our view, Tony is one of the most dominant, well-known and powerful football hooligans to date.
I see it as the collision of two subcultures, something that shouldn't happen.
The club has built up a notorious reputation that has been recognised throughout England and Europe.
You get back there as well! Get back there!